Vice President for Academic Affairs at Western. Before she was in that role, she spent 13 years as a sociology faculty member at both Western Colorado University and George Fox University. She earned her doctorate in sociology and master's in women's studies from SUNY Albany and a combined BA in sociology and psychology from Western Washington University. Dr. Hulbert's areas of research have primarily focused on race, ethnicity, gender, identity, leadership, and your generation, Gen Z. She has been invited to speak all over the nation on college campuses about reconciliation, leadership, identity development, and what it means to live the good life while in college. She believes that college can be a transformational experience for students and has a passion for journeying with students during this time in their lives. Melanie loves to travel the world, adventure in the outdoors, and train for marathons. She's crazy about her husband Jeff and her two sons, Caleb and Aiden, and don't forget her pup named Duke. So I hope that you'll give her your full attention this evening. She goes all over the nation to give talks like this, and so it's such a nice treat that she's here on our campus. And I want to welcome Dr. Melanie Hulbert.
All right, so what I'd love for you to do is take your phones and just set them aside for a moment. Just set them down, set them aside. And I'd love anyone that has seven or more tattoos to please stand. 7 or more. Stand tall, stand proud. All right, anyone that has 6 tattoos, please stand. 5 tattoos, please stand. Keep standing. 5 tattoos, stand. How about 4 tattoos? You have 4 tattoos. The numbers are getting larger. Keep standing. Anyone with 3 tattoos? I feel like I'm once and twice. Keep standing. How many of you have 2 tattoos? And how many of you have at least or have 1 tattoo? Okay. Now I want you to look around. Wave to your fellow tattoo people. Now listen. Listen. I'd like you to sit down. And I'd like everyone to stand up who will never get a tattoo. You will never tattoo anybody. All right, go ahead and have a seat. So, I want to talk about tattoos for many different reasons, but did you know that today in America, there are 47 million Americans who have at least 1 tattoo? This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Tattoos are one of the most popular fads that has been a fad for many, many years. But why do people get tattoos? So I'd like you to, just for a moment, turn to the person next to you and say, what is one reason why someone would choose to permanently ink their body? All right. So let me hear some reasons. One reason why people might choose to get a tattoo. Yes, please, sir. Okay, nice and quiet. Go ahead.
Family.
For family. What else might be a reason? Yes. Go ahead, please. To cover a scar. Yeah, why else might someone get a tattoo? Symbolism. Yes, in the back, please. To look cool? Yeah? Why else might someone get a tattoo? Yes, ma'am. Okay. How many got a tattoo and they didn't know they were getting a tattoo because they weren't fully present, right? There's lots of reasons. So here's some reasons why some people might choose to get a tattoo, right? It's a form of self-expression. This is a professor here on campus. How many of you have Brenna as a professor? When you ask Brenna about her tattoos, she will tell you it is of a particular style of tattoo. She would say, my tattoos are a reflection of my life and my story. That's very common. Another reason why people might get tattoos is a form of rebellion, but really it's a form of art. If you think about it, our bodies are created, and to place art on them as a walking symbol of art is pretty powerful. People might also get tattoos to commemorate someone. Someone, a friend of mine, might in fact get a tattoo because she had breast cancer. She had to have a double mastectomy. And her tattoo is a symbol of strength and courage. But I think the oddest tattoo I've ever heard of is a woman got paid $15,000 by the Golden Palace to have her tattoo tattooed on her forehead. Her forehead for $15,000. I would ask, why start at 15? Let's start at 30. So class that is here today, when you think about tattoos and what they are, I think in many ways a tattoo is not just a piece of art. It's not just something that we want to show off. It's something that means something to us. It's a way of identifying ourselves. So here are some of the questions I got. Why did you do it? Why made you choose that tattoo? What do your kids think? What does your employer think? Those were some of the questions, and they were some of the comments that I received when I got a tattoo about 10 years ago. Now, if you would have told me 12 years ago, Melanie, you're going to tattoo your body, I would have said there's no way. I don't know what to tattoo. I don't know where to put it on my body. I don't know how it would impact my profession. Then my husband did something to me which I find quite miraculous. He ran the Ironman, right? An Ironman is a significant race, right? You swim for 2.4 miles. You then bike for 112 miles, and then you get off your bike and you run a marathon. And after doing the Ironman, Jeff decided to commemorate his experience with a swimmer and a biker and a runner. And 140.6, that's how many miles he covered in 12 hours. And a verse that he repeated over and over and over again in his mind as he was traveling through the Ironman. And I thought to myself, that's what I want to do. I want to commemorate something. But what do I want to commemorate? Well, I like to run. I don't know, but I didn't do an Ironman, so I started asking people. I started doing my research. So you always start with your children. So I started with my 8-year-old, Caleb. What do you think I should get a tattoo of? And he's like, Mom, I know exactly what you should get. You should get a coffee shop with you running towards it because you are addicted to both. That's the same kid who just called me 2 days ago. He's a freshman in college, and he said, guess what I'm going to do, Mom? I'm going to make $50 by giving away my plasma. Like, okay, that's good for you, son. He said, do I need to ask your permission? I said, no, you do not. So at the time, I had another son. He was 6. His name's Aiden. Aiden, what do you think I should get? I know, Mom. You should get a sword and a superhero and a snake and the word dad spelled backwards. Yes, the word dad spelled backwards. I talked to people, I researched it, and I decided maybe I should try out some temporary tattoos. So I did henna tattoos, I looked at other people's tattoos, and then like a good sociologist, after researching and researching and researching, I finally just put it all aside. I woke up one morning and I went and got one from a little woman named Mama Cass. And she had her name Mama Cass on her hands. That's a little bit of a lie. Because I actually had been observing something for months prior to that. My hairdresser. I'd sit in her chair, and over the period of a year, I started to see something happening to her. She started tattooing her body all over. And it was beautiful. It was flowers and vines and garden. It was amazing. This is a poor picture, but all up and down her arm were these beautiful flowers. It wasn't an individual flower here or there. It was an entire picture, an entire sleeve that crawled up her neck. One day I was sitting in her chair, and I was talking to her about her tattoos. And this woman was sitting across the salon, an older woman, and this is what she said. I could hear it. Even though she was whispering, she wasn't really whispering. She said this. She said, "She used to be so beautiful. Why would she do that to herself?" And instantly, I just wanted to say, "Shut up. Like, I can't believe you just said that." And I looked to my hairdresser like, "What are you going to say? What are you going to say to this woman who told you you used to be so beautiful?" And you know what my hairdresser did? She stood there in all of her beauty. She turned and looked to that woman, and she said this, "Lady, my beauty's on the inside. These tattoos were on my heart long before they ever came out on my skin." I want to repeat that. My beauty is on the inside. These tattoos were on my heart long before they ever came out on my skin. And that's why I got a tattoo. I wanted to get a tattoo that I could look at every day, that could remind me who I was on my heart, who I was on the inside. Not for anyone to see, not for anyone to, try and guess what it is. It was for me. So I did. I got a tattoo at the age of 40. And it reminds me every day of who I am. I'm beloved. I'm loved. I am beloved. And I look at it every day. Folks, I want to ask you a question because I love my tattoo. I love it. I catch a glimpse of it every day. I'm not shy of it. I'm not ashamed of it. But let me ask you a question. What is your tattoo? Not what is literally your tattoo. What's the tattoo on your heart? What is it on your heart that has yet to come out on your skin? I think I know what it is. All of us have the same tattoo. Every single one. Our tattoo is this. 2 words. 3 words. To be known. All of us want and desire to be known. I love this quote. I want you to think about this quote. I want you to remember this quote. To be loved but not known is comforting but superficial. To be known and not loved is our greatest fear. But to be fully known and truly loved as well, what we need more than anything else. I think that's right. But what does it mean to be known in a community, in a place that you're brand new? You're surrounded by people that you don't know. You're surrounded by people that you don't like. You're surrounded by people that do weird things like give away their plasma. You're surrounded by people that think different, act different, play different, smell different, laugh different, love different. What do you do when you seem to be in a place that is really hard? And I think we've all come to this place as whether you're a freshman or you're a transfer student or whoever you all want to be known and you're all uncomfortable. How many of you have ever known someone, I want you to raise your hand, that purposely put themselves into a very uncomfortable, perhaps dangerous place? Purposely. I know someone. I know someone. Every single one in this room. All of you have done this. By coming to Western, from moving away from home, being on your own, to have what I think is one of the most exceptional higher ed experiences in your life. By the way, you belong in higher ed. You belong here. You have put yourself. So I want to tell you about a man that purposely did this. And this is a man that you would never think would end up in the inner cities, the most dangerous parts of LA. Dangerous. He's a white, middle-class dude. He's a priest, and he's old. And his name is Greg. Pastor Greg Boyle. He, as a young Episcopalian pastor, put himself in the inner cities of LA, and he found himself enthralled by these kids who were stuck in gangs, and would come to him and say, Father B, like, I can't get out, and I don't really want to get out, but maybe I kind of want to get out. And he found himself fascinated by people who had recently gotten out of prison and how they deeply desired to not go back to their life but didn't know how. So he does something kind of creative. He takes folks off the street and he starts businesses, Homeboy Industries. He starts cafes. He starts bakeries. He starts chip and salsa making companies. He starts he starts all these things for all these people to have a job. And do you know why? Because he says this, nothing stops a bullet like a job. Nothing stops a bullet like a job. But here's the thing about Father Boyle. Do you know how he got people in the door? He had the opposite offer of what we're talking about. He said, I'll remove your tattoo. I'll take it off. I'll take off your tattoo. Because your tattoo is not who you are anymore. Your tattoo is who you were. It's not who you are. And this is what he says in his book. And I love this. I keep saying doctor. Father Boyle says, the moment that that person steps out of that room and has their tattoo removed after several sessions, painful sessions, he makes sure he's at every single one. And as that person walks out with a smile on their face, her face, his face, he says this. Now that your tattoo on your skin is gone, what is the tattoo on your heart? Father Greg Boyle saw a need, put himself in a place where every day he feared for his life, every day he received criticism, every day he found himself in situations where he was putting his life on the line. He found himself facing really dangerous circumstances. He was harmed many times, and he persists. And you know what? Homeboy Industries is all over the country now. So, folks, when you think about your tattoo and your heart, what has been tattooed on your heart? Now, that's an individual question, but what if I was to ask Western, what is your tattoo as a community? What is Western's tattoo? I wonder if there's something about you as a whole that would be a single tattoo. I don't know. Talk to your friend right now. Tell them what's the one tattoo that all Western students might have. Tell your friend. All right. So, what are some examples? What is the tattoo that a Western, as a whole, over time, we might begin to see emerge onto your skin? What? Love? That's a good one. Yes. Nature? Good. What else?
A mountain.
Mountain. You guys are very, very polite. Yes. Hell? Oh, or hell. You could do that as well. I want two more. What are two other tattoos that I could say that is a Western tattoo? Yes, sir. The W, of course. One more. Below zero. So here's what I know about Western. I've been here for a couple years. I do know that Western seems to be a place where you don't just check in. You don't just show up. You don't just happen to simply run into someone. You don't happen to simply run into a professor who wants to know your name. You don't just kinda like the outdoors. You don't just sorta like the outdoors. You don't just kinda like the cold. You don't just kinda like the blue skies. You don't just happen to have a gear bag that's bigger than your suitcase by far. You don't just own one pair of Chacos, you have like 16 of them. You don't just care about yourself, but you care about the environment. You aren't just here because you want to be like every single one of your Instagram friends. In fact, they all went somewhere else. You're not just here just to show up. You're here for a different reason. And I think what it is, it's because you're unique. You want to be and live an amazing life. You want to experience higher education, whether you know it or not, whether you chose us or we chose you. I promise you, we will ask you to be excellent. We will ask you to think about how this place catches you off guard. We will ask you to think about how is this place changing you intellectually and academically and personally and socially. You will be different 4 years from now, and you will leave here in 4 years. You promise? Get out in 4 years. You will be different than you are today. But whatever your tattoo is, it will leave a mark. You might have scrawled it already in some bathroom stall. You might have scrawled it already in the snow, when you'll have snow. You might scrawl your tattoo somewhere. I want to talk about another story. So I have a family. I have 2 boys. One's in college, one is not. Speaks to everything. These are amazing children. They drive me crazy. I love them. I can't stand them. And I've given them everything that I have. And as little tiny boys, by the way, they're not tiny. One of them is 6'6". One of them is 6'2". The younger one is 6'6". But when they were little, I don't know if they were ever that little, maybe this little, every summer, the Hulberts would venture in the red caravan minivan all over this country looking for the most beautiful sunrises, the most beautiful sunsets, the steepest hikes, the largest mountains, the biggest trees, the biggest bears, the tiniest butterflies, the tiniest flowers. And we would take these boys who had legs this long, and we'd say, now hike for 150 miles. And they did. Hike, hike, hike. Because we got to see some of the most beautiful places in the world. All these amazing national parks that are all over this country that blow your mind when you're there, right? All these places that every time we go, we have to take this silly little picture. And one year, in one of our journeys, Glacier National Park, we got into our tent that night, and all of a sudden, we start to smell something kind of gross. And I think, one of the children just had an accident. So we're picking up bottoms, and we're picking up legs, and we're taking a sniff. And that wasn't it. We had literally put our tent on top of cow pies. Not only that, our tent had holes in it. So there were like ants crawling in our tent. It was terrible, it was awful, and it was disgusting. And I told my husband, I will never camp again. You're taking me on a cruise to I don't know where. You're going to put me on a plane, and you're going to put me in a nice hotel. And he said, but don't you just love the poop and the ants? I did, eventually. So the next day, we drove a long way to get to an REI to buy a tent. And we bought a yellow tent. This is a beautiful tent. It is a 2-room tent, 1 room for Mom, 1 room for all of them. So we set up our new tent. I know you've done this before. Don't you love it? When you set it up, we put the fly on it, we went for a hike. And when we got back, we were tired, we crawled in the tent, we must have fallen asleep, but all of a sudden, I hear my youngest son say, oh my God, oh my God, oh my gosh, he's breathing, oh my God, Mom, it's a bird. And sure enough, in between the tent and the fly was this bird. And she was panicking. She's running all around. She's pooping everywhere. She can't get out of the tent. She's stuck. And this child is deathly afraid of birds. To this day, he's this big 18-year-old man giving away plasma, and he is literally petrified of a bird. Now, remember the kid that said you should put a tattoo that says Dad backwards? He's like, get a knife, Mom. Kill it. Take it down. Dad, go punch it. Get it. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my gosh. So we got out of the tent, and it's going crazy. It's really stunned. So we take the fly off, And it just sits there and looks at us, and we look at it, and it's still pooping a little bit. And it just sits there. It wasn't stunned, because she kind of flapped her wings a little bit. She started walking around a little bit. The fly was gone. She could fly away. One moment, just a moment ago, she'd been panicking. And now she was walking around and looking at us. And again, one kid's like, kill it! The other kid's like, I can't breathe. And then she flew away. You know what I thought about in that moment? Aren't we all kind of like that bird? We find ourselves in these places and spaces that are tight, that are cramped, and we panic. We're not comfortable. We don't know how to feel. It feels unsettling. It feels, oh, by the way, do you know why we had birds and bees and everything in the fly in that tent? Because it looks like a giant flower. That's why. So you gotta get a brown tent or a green tent. Anyway, back to the story. This little bird is like us. We find a place, we feel uncomfortable, but then after a while it just kind of starts to grow on us. We start to be interested in this place. We start to want to hang out and go for the ride. And then eventually you'll fly away. Now I know that might sound a little cheesy, right? Like the bird in the tent, and you want to sit around and you want to enjoy it, but we're all that way. Right now you're uncomfortable. You're not sure if you should fly away. You're not sure if you should stay. You're probably pooping a little bit. Just a little bit. But isn't that what college is all about? In many ways, something about this place makes you hold on. I don't know if it was a campus visit. I don't know if it's because your friend's here or your boyfriend is here, and now he's not your boyfriend anymore, thank God, because you should never go to college with a boyfriend or girlfriend. Right? Maybe you talked to an alum. Maybe you happened to be driving by. Maybe you met a really cool professor. Something about this place made you stay. Something about this place made you stick. So here's the point. From tattoos to birds in yellow tents, I want to assure you that you are here at this time and place for a very specific reason. You might have got caught in the fly, but you're here for a reason. This year, friends, in your dorm rooms, in your classrooms, you will be asked to think and feel and behave in new ways, in challenging ways. I promise you there's going to be a lot of beauty. You will experience beauty in your learning, in your friendships, in enjoying this beautiful place, in the knowledge that you're getting that, by the way, very few people on this planet ever get the chance. There's going to be some pain. There's going to be pain. Some of you have already experienced that pain. But I also promise you that although we can be assured of beauty and we can be assured of pain, Western is a place that lives out several things. We're a yellow tent made of compassion, made of ferocious curiosity, made of ferocious risk-taking. We live out what it means to be in community. We live out what it means to be known. Western is a place that not only can you adventure physically in the wilderness, you will adventure inside your own life. You will live out excellence. You will walk away a better human being because of what you've learned and what you do with it. What you learn means nothing unless you do something with it. So for your midterm, maybe you've had one, I want you to do this for your assignments. I want you to think about this place. These are all places, pictures from here. I want you to think about what mark you'll leave here. When you walk across that stage, I want everyone to have a tattoo on their body that says, I am known. I might even pay you to do it. Not $15,000. I am known. And I don't want it to face outward. outward. I want it to face inward. And I also want this. I want you to ask yourself, what's tattooed right now? What's on your heart right now? What has yet to come out? What is it that you want people to see? What's going to be the tattoo on your heart 4 years from now, 10 years from now, when you're really old like me? What's that tattoo? You know what it is for Jeff, my husband? Just last year, this is who he is today, as a 48-year-old dude. He's about faith, he's about hope, and he's about love. And this is who I am today. Nice bicep, right? I am still beloved, but I've added something. I've added a flower called the columbine, which is whose state flower? Do you know what a columbine means? Columbine means humble wisdom. And do you know why else I put a columbine? It's because this place has changed me forever. So as you think about the tattoo on your heart and what's going to come out in the next couple of years, I want it to be beautiful. And by the way, in order to do this exercise, no skin art is actually required. Thank you, folks, for being here tonight and for thinking with me. And I just want you to go out and have an amazing rest of your semester. And you're awesome!